Hello, biology students. Welcome back. We are on day 2 of cell energy. So yesterday you should have gone through the video and the notes on just the overall kind of generic process of photosynthesis. Today we're going to go into the process on a cellular level. So prior to that, hopefully you have your notes out and ready because there's going to be some of this information you're going to want to fill in. But prior to that, you may want to go through some review. Typically, I would do this with students in class. So you may want to do this on your own, but I attached a couple slides here with some review questions. So here's the first set. There's 7 questions here. If I were you, I would pause it at this point. I would try and answer these on your own as a kind of a quick check for understanding of yesterday's material. So go ahead and do that if you so choose. On the next slide, I will have the responses or the answers. So again, go ahead and pause it if you want a quick review or check in as far as what you understood from yesterday's photosynthesis information. Okay, so here are the responses to those. So here's your 7 questions, same ones as on the last slide, and then the answers to the right. Please make sure this information is understood quite well because this will be the foundation for you understanding the material of today. So again, if you need to pause it and either write this stuff down or just check your work, please feel free. All right, and then the last piece I have here from yesterday are 2 video clips. If you would like to watch these, I'm not sure if you can get these links on this video or not. If not, if you can't get these, I'm not sure you can, I guess at this point. If you can't get these, feel free to just Google or go to YouTube and click on just type in any type of photosynthesis review or process of photosynthesis review, and you should get a whole host of videos that will help you further understand the material a little bit better. Or again, feel free to ask your teachers. So that's all from information from yesterday. Today we're going to look at the actual cellular level process of what's happening during that photosynthetic process. So I'm going to first show you this image. And this should be similar to the image you guys have in your notes, your outline notes. It may look slightly different. That's fine. You're going to see different images of this diagram shown, so it's good to have a feel of what they're going to look like in a variety of different ways. But the generic plan is still the same. So I'm going to show you this. I'm just going to point out a few things. I'm going to go into detail as far as what's happening, and then I will wrap it up at the end with another image. All right, here we go. So if you think back to the process of photosynthesis, what are the reactants? What are the products? So think big picture. What's going into the reaction? What's coming out? So if you think about what a plant is doing, a plant is taking in sunlight, it is taking in water, and it is taking in CO2. Those are your 3 reactants. So the left side of your formula or chemical equation. The 2 products are on the bottom of this image, oxygen and sugar. That's what's coming out of the reactions. That's what's on the right-hand side of your chemical reaction. So big picture, that's what you're looking at. These are the 3 reactants on the top and the 2 products coming out of that reaction. The entire diagram is showing you a chloroplast, because remember the chloroplast is the location in plants where photosynthesis takes place. And you'll also notice there are 2 parts of this reaction. The light reactions, or we call them light dependent reactions here. And those take place in the thylakoids. Remember, the thylakoids are these little coin-shaped structures that hold the chlorophyll for light absorption. And then on the right-hand side, we have what's called the Calvin cycle, or the light independent reactions. So 2 parts to this cycle, light dependent and light independent, or Kelvin. All right, so let me go into some details and then we'll come back to this picture. So the light dependent, so you're on the left side of that image. The light-dependent reaction uses water to make oxygen, and it uses that by having that sunlight split a water molecule into an oxygen molecule, and in that process, it's also creating high energy molecules to be sent to the Kelvin cycle. Going back, it does occur again in the thylakoids, and it will produce these high energy molecules, ATP and NADPH. Those are the names of the high energy molecules that are created in that process. So let me come back up to that image. So this is the process we're talking about right here, the light-dependent reaction. Sunlight's coming in, as well as water. The light breaks up that water molecule into oxygen, which is then released by the plant. And also what is produced in that reaction is ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and NADPH. Both of these molecules are high energy molecules that will be sent over to the Kelvin cycle to generate power energy for this cycle to proceed. So one last time. Sorry, light comes in, breaks up water to produce oxygen, which is released, and two high energy molecules that will be sent over to the Kelvin cycle. All of that occurs in the thylakoids. The next process, or Kelvin cycle, also known as, the light independent reactions, is on the right-hand side. This process does not require light. So the light dependent, which makes sense, light dependent reaction does require sunlight. Light independent does not require sunlight, also known as the Kelvin cycle. This occurs in the stroma, so not in the thylakoids anymore, in the stroma, so in that kind of open filler, watery type material, it's occurring in the stroma of the chloroplast. And it's using CO2 plus those high energy molecules to make sugar as your product. So again, I'm going to jump actually down to a different picture, but similar, to show you this. So here's your Kelvin cycle, or your light independent, because there's no light coming into this reaction. All is what's happening here is it's taking the two high energy molecules from your light dependent reaction. It's powering the Kelvin cycle, which takes in CO2, converts that CO2 into sugar, which is released, or not really released, but it's stored within the plant cells. And it's pushing those, what was high energy molecules, it used that energy to complete the Kelvin cycle and produce sugar. And it's sending these lower energy, ADP plus P, and NADP plus molecules, these lower energy molecules, back to the light dependent reactions to get powered up again. Those are the two steps. So again, my suggestion to you would be to just really kind of look at this image as an overview of what's happening and think to yourself, what am I looking at first? Okay, this is a chloroplast molecule, or organelle, I'm sorry. It is found in a plant cell. What do plants do in photosynthesis? What are they taking in? Light, water, and CO2. Okay, what's coming out of that reaction? Oxygen and sugar. How does that happen? How do we get that? Well, there's two steps. Light dependent, which requires light, splitting of water to make O2 and high energy molecules, which then powers the Kelvin cycle to take in CO2, convert it to sugar molecules, and push back out these lower energy molecules back over to the light dependent to get powered back up. So take that process step by step. Think about big picture, what's happening, what's going in, what's coming out, and the two steps involved. For further understanding, I would suggest going to the Amoeba Sisters. Again, I'm not sure this link will work in the video, but you can search it up. Amoeba Sisters and Photosynthesis. It's about 8 minutes You have to get past their kind of annoying voices, but the material is pretty good. So go ahead and view that video for further understanding if you'd like. There are also some questions here. Again, if you want to just kind of quiz yourself after you think you've got this information down, maybe you want to quiz yourself on it. Take a look at these, write them down if you want. Pause the video now if you'd like to, because then the next slide I'll show you has the answers. So I'll give you a minute to do that if you want to check your understanding. And then here are your answers to those questions. So it goes through what the process involves, where it's located, what's being used, what are the reactants, what are the products, to help you understand the material better. Okay, so that concludes photosynthesis. So know that process really well, know that diagram, that diagram you'll see again on your test, and you're going to be having to label the different parts of that diagram and know what's happening in each, what's going in, what's coming out, and the 2 steps involved. Please let your teachers know if you have any further questions.